All right, multiplying polynomials. Now this front side of the note sheet, if you look at the problems, they're all binomials multiplied by binomials. Now, in that specific case, you can use, and this is the way I learned it, FOIL. So FOIL is you multiply the first terms, the outside terms, the inside terms, and then the last terms together. So the first terms are the first in each parentheses. So you're doing 3y, in this case, times 5y squared. So first you multiply the numbers. So 3 times 5 would be 15. And then you multiply the y's together. So we have y to, there's no exponent, so it's technically to the first power times y to the second power. Now, when you multiply, you actually add the exponents. But another way of thinking about it is, all right, if we have y, it's just y. Y to the second power is really y times y. So we're really multiplying y together 3 times. So the answer there would be 15y to the third power. And you can just add the exponents. 1 plus 2 is 4. 3. Alright, so that's the first. Next, outside terms. So the outside, they mean the very outside of both parentheses. So we have 3y and negative 1y. So 3 times negative 1 would be negative 3. And y times y would be, well, again, there's like the invisible 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, so 3y squared. Next, we have inside. So the inside of the whole thing would be the 7 and the 5y squared. 7 times 5 is 35, so plus 35. And then we have the y squared that we have to remember to bring down. All right, and finally last. So that means the last term in both parentheses. So we have 7 times negative y, which would be negative 7y. So in our steps on the right, first we multiply every term together. So every term in the first parentheses has to be multiplied by every term in the last. I'm actually going to go back and color code the multiplication. Another way, so you don't have to follow FOIL. Another way that a lot of students do it, or think about it, is, all right, we're going to multiply 3y by everything in the second parenthesis. So first we distribute it to the 5y squared, then we distribute it to the negative y. And it really is just using the distributive property. Our next step, which we learned about when we were adding and subtracting polynomials, is to combine any like terms. So are there any like terms here? Well, let's see if we have the same variable, which we do. We have y everywhere. And then we have to see if we have the same exponent. The only place we have the same exponent is in the middle, so we're going to combine those together. So we'll just bring down the 15y cubed, and then negative 3 plus 35 is positive 32, so plus 32y squared, and then we'll bring down the minus 7y. So step 1, multiply. Step 2, CLT. Combine like terms. Alright, not too bad. So for example 2, we have x squared times 2x squared, which is going to be 2. And then for the exponents, we add. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 2x to the 4th power. And then we have x squared times negative 2. So minus 2x squared. Ooh, loud thunder, you hear that? And then we have 4x that we have to multiply by everything. So 4x times 2x squared. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then we move on to the variable. So x to the first power times x to the second power is x to the third power. And then finally, 4x times negative 2 is negative 8x. In this case, it looks like we don't have any like terms, so we have x to the fourth power, x squared, x cubed, x. However, we want to write them in order from greatest to least exponent. So the greatest is 4, because this is a 4th degree polynomial. But then we should write the 8x cubes before the minus 2x squared. Biggest to smallest. And once we rearrange them, boom, done. All right. And for example 3, it's a little tricky. We don't see this too often, but it can happen where you have multiple variables. So we're going to follow our FOIL. So first is 4x times 2x, which is 8x squared. Then 4x times negative 2xy. So if we combine the numbers, that's negative 8. And then we have x times y, basically. So we're multiplying x together twice. So we'll have x squared times y. The y doesn't really get combined with anything else. All right. So next we did outside, then we do inside. So 5 times 2x would be 10x. And then finally we do last. So 5 times negative 2xy. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. And then we have x, y. And for like terms, now you can have xy and xy as like terms, but 10x and 10xy aren't like terms. You have to have all of the same variable or nothing. Here we have x squared and y, so that's not like terms with x and y because there's a different exponent there. So it's actually totally finished. You can't simplify that anymore.